Loons on Deck Circle, powered by Dow Corning Pregame Show. So glad to have you with us here on ESPN 100.9 FM. It's a great night for a ball game. The Loons taking on the Lansing Lugnuts. It is our salute to the 90s night here, and Alfonso Ribeiro is with us. He played Carlton Banks on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So great to have you. Thanks for joining us, Alfonso.
Yeah, it's great to be here, hanging out. Saw some of the guys, went down to the locker room, hung out, did some BP in the batting cage. It was fun. It's been a good time so far.
Now, I always assumed that Carlton Banks would not have been a good athlete, but I watched you take some swings downstairs, and Alfonso Ribeiro is a good athlete. You got a nice swing there.
Well, thank you. You know, I switch hit, so I can hit both righty and lefty, so that worked out. It's fun. But yeah, Carlton Banks would not have been a very good athlete, as I think some of the episodes showed with his basketball skills, or lack thereof.
And you had to kind of play that up, right? I mean, just, you know, his character was not supposed to be cool, he was not supposed to be hip, and therefore not supposed to be an athlete.
You know, I find that it's very funny because a lot of actors have such a hard time separating themselves from their character. And, you know, it's like, now that I'm directing, I deal with many actors and say, well, I would never do that. And my answer to them always is, well, I don't care what you would do, your character would do it. So for me, you know, it's like I understood for the comedy to work as I couldn't be the cool guy. That's what Will was. So I had to be, you know, the nerd, the smart guy, and I played it up. And to me, it's like that's what made the show fun, was accepting the differences between Will and Carlton.
And everybody, it seemed, had their defined roles. Jeffrey was the comic relief. Jazz was the comic relief. You had a ditzy sister. You had a smart sister.
Right.
You guys all had those roles. You guys were kind of like a team, I guess, in that sense, in that you guys all had to have your roles. You knew that you couldn't be necessarily the star of the show.
Absolutely.
But you guys all, what made it seem to work was that you guys had your roles.
Well, the thing is that you're not the star of the show, you're the star of your moment. And if you take that moment and run with it and do the most that you can with it, you'll make that moment special. And, you know, what most actors, you know, they want the fame, they want the fortune, they want all the accolades. At the end of the day, it's I act for me, right? I do it for how it makes me feel. And when it's making me feel good, hopefully it's making other people feel good.
And that moment for you, I guess, was when Tom Jones' It's Not Unusual came on.
Well, that was for the character.
Yes,
that was for the character.
Banks, yes.
Yeah, Carlton Banks really enjoyed that moment.
How did that come about? Because that, first off, is that the Carlton dance, is that more popular now, or was it more popular when the show was first on the air?
Well, it certainly wasn't popular when the show was on the air, because I mean, we probably didn't do it in the first season. I think it was maybe second season or beyond. But yes, it has become something that literally everywhere I go, every day of my life, if I am outside, if I leave my house, someone's gonna walk up to me and say, "Do the dance!" And I'm always like, no, I'm not going to dance all day.
But it's kind of the YouTubification that has made it so popular.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, with social media and obviously YouTube, and you can go online and watch anything, it certainly has allowed kids that were not even born when we were doing the show. I mean, the show ended 18 years ago. So, you know, it's very funny when I see kids who are, you know, 8 and 9 years old, and they come up to me and they recognize me. It's like, well, clearly you didn't see it when we did it.
Yeah. What was your inspiration for your character?
There was no really inspiration in terms of for the character. I mean, obviously the creators of the show wrote the character, and I basically, you know, interpreted it the way that I felt it would be the funniest. And so I didn't really try to model it after anyone. I just kind of, you know, felt like, ooh, this would be funny if I did it like this.
Right. We're joined by Alfonso Ribeiro, who played Carlton Banks on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but obviously a lot of different, you're a versatile guy. You've done a lot of acting, dancing, directing, singing. Talk a little bit about some of the other stuff that you've done and what your biggest passions and interests are.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, most of my biggest passions now are not even in the business. I love playing golf. And I play competitive golf. I play out on some of the celebrity tours, and that's always a lot of fun. But in terms of career stuff, I'm really passionate about my directing. It's really a lot of fun. I've been doing a lot of stuff with the Disney Channel, and I have a show called Mighty Med for Disney XD that I do, and I'm about to start a new one, KC Undercover, and so it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy being behind the camera.
Do you bounce ideas off of your kids that you put on the Disney Channel?
No. Well, you know, the thing, when you're directing, you're not really writing it. It's basically, here's your script. Go ahead and make this come to life. So, but I really love the actors that I get to work with. You know, it's fun for me being a child actor, turned adult, to go back and work with, the kids and kind of help some of those young kids who are either starting in the business or have been around a little bit to help them, expand what they're trying to do.
You're obviously a guy that enjoys sports. You like baseball, you like golf. Were you able to kind of have that normal childhood, being a childhood actor? Were you able to experience some of those things? Did you get to play Little League or sports growing up?
I did before, I started really working a lot. Obviously up until, 10, 11, 12 years old, I was playing Little League all the time. And so that was, baseball was my sport growing up, and I certainly loved it. But once you start working, it's hard to get the time to go into any sort of, formalized baseball. It's like you're not going to play on a Little League anymore. You just we had a showbiz league, and we would play some softball, and so, being on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air team or being on the, the Broadway league or whatever it was, but, I would get it out that way.
Who could play on the Fresh Prince team?
Me. Nobody else.
Nobody else could play.
None of the actors were very good.
Will Smith, did he even play?
No, Will didn't play. He, he's long.
Yes.
And sometimes he's not coordinated with his length.
Okay, so the feet don't necessarily do what the brain wants them to.
Not all the time, but baseball wasn't his game. He played basketball.
When that show first started, he was basically a rapper who was trying to act. He is now an A-list actor. Did you have any idea when you kind of first met him how good an actor he was capable of becoming?
Absolutely not. You couldn't.
That's a very honest answer.
Well, there's no way of ever, guessing that someone that you meet and they're acting for the first time will become one of the greatest and biggest movie stars in the world. You would have special skills if you were able to do that. But one thing that I did recognize in Will that makes him special is that Will is probably the hardest working person I've ever met. He works tirelessly at trying to perfect everything that he does. And so when we were on, the first season, I think it was the first, 9 or 10 episodes, he learned the entire script. He learned everybody's lines rather than just learning his. And the problem with that was then he would start mouthing our words back to us when we were acting. So we had to teach him to stop doing that. But you know what? He works really hard at the craft. And he's done an amazing job. He's still a great friend, and I'm very proud of him.
Alfonso, it's great to have you here at Dow Diamond. Good luck with that first pitch. I know you've got a very special first pitch catcher that you've known for a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
Dylan
Moyer is a buddy of him and his family, and his mom Karen and Jamie Moyer are friends of ours. So it was very funny. About a week ago, his mom Karen called my wife and was like, "Are you gonna be in Michigan?" Well, Dylan's playing. I was like, "All right, well maybe I can get him to catch my first pitch." So I think he's gonna catch my first pitch tonight.
Well, very good. It's great to meet you. So great to have you out here. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Alfonso Ribeiro, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be signing some autographs here as well on 90s night here at the ballpark. We got the Loons and the Lugnuts coming up. Both teams 4-3 on the season. Brandon Martinez starting for the Loons. Brad Allen gets the start for the Lansing Lugnuts. We've got much more on that pitching matchup and the matchup between the Loons and the Lugnuts coming up when we continue here from Dow Diamond on the Loons on Deck Circle, powered by Dow Corning, right here on ESPN 100.9 FM.
Here's a look at your forecast for